Hello fellow adventurers and collectors, Filmaholic here. Today we're going to be looking at something special in that this is the first body that I actually actively watched from teaser to release. Now, this is the Worldbox AT202 Suntan body. Now the reason I was interested in this body is because it had a unique physique to it. And as you can see here, it even has some body blushing. Now, most of the 1/6 scale female bodies that you see that are out there are created by Damn Toys, whether they're cloned or not. You know, it's depending on which company is releasing it, but suffice to say, you typically see this lean, articulated body on the marketplace, and this just so happened to be something different. And something that I've noticed with Worldbox itself is that it creates bodies that are different than everything else that's on the market. So immediately this was brought to my attention, and I actively watched it until it came out, and I was able to find this one on eBay. I'm not entirely sure if it's out yet by the release of this video, but suffice to say I got an early copy. Now I've had this body for a couple days now, and I've got some gripes, but at the same time overall I do like the body and would recommend it with some caveats, and we'll get there in the end. In terms of accessories, it does come with several hands and even some unique hands that aren't necessarily seen in other body releases. It also came with this piece. I'm not entirely sure what it's used for, but there really weren't any instructions in the box, so unfortunately I'm kind of left in the dark as to what that is. So like I said, the body blushing is even here present on the accessories, so if you're into that kind of thing, it's present as well. Now in terms of the body itself, I think it's a very weighty body, although it's like an in-between of a TB League body and the typical, Damn Toys or Hot Toys type body in terms of weight. Now, I should mention that that you're probably going to end up having to find or modify clothes in order to fit the lower body because it's a lot thicker. So keep that in mind if you're interested in this type of thing. Although the torso itself is pretty narrow, it has a small bust option, so it's not necessarily over exaggerated like some of the other TB League options that are out there. Now in terms of basically for this character, I'm just kind of going in the direction of like a SHD agent from like the Division or something like that. I'm half tempted to make my own little stories with each character subgroup that I have, so we'll see how that goes in the future. But as you can see here, this body, despite all the cuts and everything, does fill out clothes. And I should mention the elbow articulation is a bit wonky in the sense that it kind of flattens off. It's a double joint at the elbow, but they kind of did it in a way that was a little bit rudimentary in my opinion. But I should mention this as well. In terms of the build quality, it's a bit not so much like, it's not that I'm worried about it breaking, but it's a bit rubbery for my taste. Like, feels like the joints itself are made out of this interesting material. And in terms of articulation, with the added thickness, it's a bit limited at the waist, but you can still get some decent poses, and this is at everything maxed or what I was comfortable maxing out on. As you can see, she's able to do some basic basic running motions, and that's pretty much what I would want in my collection, not necessarily something too extreme, because again, this is more for the physique than anything else. And I'm not entirely sold on whether or not I'm going to keep the Chun-Li head on it, but it does fit it for obvious reasons, but I'm not entirely sure if it works with the outfit that I have with this. That being said, I do have 2 more on pre-order, so suffice to say I do like it, and I would recommend it in the sense that if you're interested in having unique physiques and diversifying your collection, it is worth it. It's on a somewhat lesser level than TB League in the sense that it's cheaper to get into. It's not necessarily the worst at articulating, and you don't have to worry about it articulating in the sense that you can leave it in poses and not worry about it. And that's my biggest gripe about TB League, is that they're great for filling out clothes and everything, but the articulation just kind of, worries me in a bit. So As you can see, here is a comparison between the different types of bodies that I have in my collection. On the left, you have a TB League body, AT20, I believe, or A20. And then on the right, you have a Damn Toys, typical 1/6 scale body. So it kind of fits in between in the sense of scale. And like I said, if you're looking to diversify the collection, you know, diversify your characters is not a bad option to have. But again, it all depends on what you're going for in your collection. And as you can see here, it's definitely a lot thicker than the other two bodies in the sense that it, you know, it's down with the thickness. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I came across this body. It might have been on some news channel or whatnot, but you know, this is the first time I've actually seen something in body wise that I was like, oh, that's something unique that I had to have it. So I've kind of waited for this to come out, and yeah. With that said, you can see with these comparison shots the different physique that this has compared to the other two. And in terms of alternatives, the only thing that I can think of is the Hot Toys Alice body that came out with that Afterlife figure, but even then that's hard to come by, and that you're looking at probably $100 for that. So at around $50-$60 for these bodies is not too bad. So with that said, I appreciate you guys checking this video out, and if you feel so inclined, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. So until next time, I'll see you guys around.